Greetings, Flesh Wound Horror freaks, and welcome to a brand new episode of Flesh Wound Horror. I'm Flesh Wound Dan. I'm joined by producer Todd.
You got to back up when you do the intro. You just yell into the microphone and it blows out a little.
Well, tough shit. I'm going to get even closer now, Todd.
Well, Dan, if you knew how to properly use a microphone, you wouldn't get close and be like, "Good evening, welcome to."
Now I'm going to go extra fucking loud.
That's all right. I'm just going to mute Dan and we'll do the intro on our own.
Every time.
Dan trying to deep throw this mic. What's up, you sick motherfuckers? I'm Mike Kruger.
There you go. Introduce yourself next time, Todd. God damn it. All right. So, Flesh Wound Horror. Todd's already thrown me off, but that's okay. It works. It works.
Keep you on your toes.
Yes. Horror YouTubers of the month. Come on, Todd. I do great intros. Great.
Now I don't have to be nice to you anymore. We already won.
No, that's true. Nice stuff to be nice. We got to represent the nomination video and all our great nominees.
I don't know if you want that.
I
don't know if you want to be represented by us, but
well, they are. They have no choice. They are. They accepted. So yes, be sure to vote. Yes. So on that note, yes, vote on the video in the comments. Pretty simple, and we will keep track of it. And on that note, how's your day going, Todd? Except yelling at me as per usual.
It was good until I had to see you. No, I'm kidding.
Well, that's
so far so good.
Yes. All right. Well, let's just get right into it.
Fuck how Kruger's day's going.
Yeah, for real. Nobody gives a fuck about me.
General.
Move on, you motherfucker.
How are you doing, Kruger? Is life treating
Go
you?
Fuck yourself. How about that?
All right. Well, that answers it pretty much. Kruger's just,
this is true.
A man of few words, but he gets his point across. All right. So, our first movie this evening is DASHCAM from director Rob Savage.
Got it right this time.
Yeah, we did. We get it right this time. So, in this film, two friends embark on a horror-fueled road trip and live terrifying night of their lives. Okay, so this is from the director of Host, which was, I guess, do we consider that the first pandemic shot and released movie?
It's the first marketed one. Is that I want to say that Charles Band beat them to that with the Tiger King, or no, Corona Zombies.
It did beat it. Okay, I couldn't remember, but nonetheless, this one was kind of a big deal. Set during the pandemic, shot during the pandemic, and that movie made a lot of noise. It was an unusually good year, so I don't think it made at least my top 10, but it was.
I saw it on a lot of people's top 10, though.
Yeah, it was even number one on some people's lists. So there was a lot of hype behind this one. It is a Blumhouse film, Does anybody want to go first, or you want me to take it first?
I could go. I think we should leave you. We should leave you for last in anticipation if it's living up to the.
I've not tipped my hat.
Corona Zombies, April 10th, 2020, and The Host.
The Host was definitely after that.
Yeah, it was June. I just had the date in front of me, but it disappeared. Okay. So yeah, it definitely beat it.
Right. Yeah, because I don't think I was around when you guys did Corona Zombies, but I was around for The Host. So yeah, DASHCAM. Well, to start off, I wasn't really that high on The Host. When it came out, or just watching it, they had its moments, and I thought there were some things that were decently done, but as a whole, it didn't seem too much different to me than other found footage stuff. So this going into this, my expectations were already kind of low, despite all the hype around it, and this movie has me really fucking conflicted. Because it has some really awesome effects, some nasty, gross out moments where, people's jaws are getting ripped off, blood spewing all over the fucking place. But we follow literally, and I'm not even fucking joking, I have never wanted to blow my brains out following around two fucking annoying motherfuckers more than my life. And I get that's the fucking purpose, but it was making me want to turn the movie off. Every single joke, every single line, like it just, it's supposed to be funny, and I'm sitting here not fucking laughing at all, and just like, this shit is just stupid as fuck. And as the movie's progressing, obviously there's like the story's getting good. But then every time a fucking scare happens, one of these douchebags makes the dumbest fucking comment, and it almost like takes away from the effect or the scare that I just saw. So I just having all this humor that I just found completely unfunny, just really hurted a lot for me. And like, I'm not lying. Like, I probably thought about turning this off maybe about 4 or 5 times, even with all the cool shit, like effects wise and story wise going on.
Yes, I knew you gave us that text. This is giving me a headache. So.
Dude, like, here's my thing. Like, I get it. Like, I get the poking fun at, you know, that side of, you know, the politics or whatever. But there's ways of being, I don't know, just clever about it. And this kind of felt like this is somebody who just, you know, looks at a bunch of people's reactions on the internet and then brings them out into a script. And it just, I don't know. I just was really, really annoyed by all the fucking humor, because I actually really enjoyed the serious shit that was going on. And, you know, like the whole Angela character and what's going on with her, I thought, you know, there's definitely some genuinely creepy moments, but then, you know, the stupid rapper bitch would just fucking make some dumbass comment, and I'd be like, oh, well, it's not fucking scary anymore. Thanks, dick. And so, I mean, on screen, you know, there's some great scenarios that play out, but then it's plagued by just this poorly timed humor that I found extremely unfunny, and annoying characters I couldn't give a fuck about, and I just wanted to see die Cannibal Holocaust style, especially that rapper. Jesus Christ. Maybe if this was a short in like VHS or, you know, one of those anthologies, and I didn't have to spend a whole hour and 20 minutes with these fucking people, it definitely would have been more tolerable. But at the same time, just like, this was not a fun experience for me. And I hate saying that, because in found footage movies, you don't usually get that visceral gore and effects going on. And this brought it like it was a VHS anthology, you know, segment. And that, you know, I love VHS. That's like one of my favorite found footage just franchises in general. And this would have fit well if it was condensed into that format. But it being dragged out to a feature-length film, migraine from fucking hell. Let's just put it that way. Dan, you're muted.
Oh, there you go.
And that was Todd's fault.
No, I muted you when your dogs were barking. You must have unmuted it after I unmuted you.
No worries.
I still blame you. Todd, what did you think?
I think I'm going to be alone in this. I actually did really like this movie. And yes, the bitches were annoying as hell. And I believe Annie Hardy is playing herself, because she does, like, she is a musician and her name is Annie Hardy in the movie.
Yeah, she does like the same shtick, I guess.
I don't know if she's like Super Trumper on her channel, or that's just for the movie.
According to what I heard, like just reviewed, like I haven't watched any of her videos, so guys, correct me if I'm wrong, but I heard she's kind of like that. Now, it's probably one of those things where you don't really know if the person's joking or not, just because everything seems satirical. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I get what you mean. If not, Caesar's going to give this movie 5 stars.
Oh, dude, he's going to love the fuck out of this.
But the whole time I was genuinely intrigued on what was going to happen, as annoying as she was. And I loved reading the little comments. And there was one guy who kept popping up, and I was like, all right, is he going to have something to do with it? Because like he kept tagging like what her location is. Like, oh, I think she's here. I was like, is he going to like show up at one of the spots? So, I did. I like this. There's a lot going on. Like, I feel like I need to watch it again. Because like some points I'd be focusing on the action, other parts I'd be focusing on like all the comments on the Instagram. I'm guessing it's supposed to be Instagram.
I thought it was Oh, maybe it is. I couldn't tell what the.
I think
layout
it was purposely supposed to be a generic social media, so they couldn't.
I mean, both
didn't necessarily-
Instagram and fucking Facebook look the same now, anyways.
Yeah.
So, when it
But-
comes to-
Yeah. You mentioned the gore and the effects. I thought it was just really well made. It was, we got to see, because the first time he only had like a small, shot in the pandemic coast, and this is letting him out in the world. I'd like to see him do something other than found footage. I mean, for me, he's good at what he does. Although technically the last one was Screen Life, but let's not do that.
the same fucking thing, goddamn it.
So, yeah, Dan, what about you?
So this movie was interesting to me because really over the pandemic and doing YouTube, I've learned a little bit more about live streamers, particularly crazy, wild live streamers like Annie in this movie. I know she's an indie musician. I think that's her main thing.
She
She's
was
a
signed to a
rapper.
label.
Yeah, she's got some credits to her name. Fairly newish to acting, I guess. But so that world meant nothing to me before COVID hit. And for those of you aware of some of the shenanigans on Cornelius Collection, we actually had a really big one, Aldi 3K or something, that popped into the channel, and very much like this lady, very annoying, maybe funny, depending on your sense of humor. I believe,
Or your age.
Your age. I do believe on that stream he shoved a vape pen up his ass and Hayden had to cut away. So yeah,
that would have been way more fucking entertaining than what.
Kruger's like, can we get the remake with that?
Yeah,
but yeah, no, and so I've kind of gotten glimpses of that world. Crazy guy threatening to kill me and all that good stuff. So it felt, to a point, obviously, until we get into some of the supernatural shenanigans, it felt kind of authentic, and I took it for what it was.
I was gonna say that could be a good thing or a bad thing for you.
No,
Kruger, that was a bad thing that it was so authentic. Because if he was watching this, he would have immediately stopped watching it on his. Like if you're watching, saw some of it on Instagram. Yeah,
it can definitely. This one's going to really depend. I could almost compare it to like an opinion I hear on Bordello of Blood a lot. Like if you're not really a strong Dennis Miller guy, a lot of people have issues with that movie because it's very much a Dennis Miller movie with his humor that's 50-50 for people. I didn't mind her. At times, some of it was kind of funny, but I can see it waning on a lot of people. It will. In fact, I'm going to say right now, this is going to have more negative reviews than positive, probably for that reason. I didn't necessarily mind it. I thought she was an interesting character. This is a horror comedy at the end of the day. No matter what fucked up stuff happens, still cracking jokes to the point that, yeah, it's going to take a lot of people out of it because the carnage and some of this movie's 1,000 miles per hour. There's gore, there's really cool chase scenes, and it does have some suspense. It's just going to depend on you. Annie Hardy, whether she's herself or not, is a very annoying character. But I was okay with it. I knew who she was from the first minute of screen time, and I rolled with it. It made sense, and every once in a while, I even kind of laughed. She'd have a funny one-liner. I thought the slapping gag in particular was hilarious when she goes into her friend's house and just, but the girlfriend was in the bed. I didn't mind it.
Basically, just ripping off Bam. So
I never really. I only watched him on Jackass.
Viva La Bam was so good.
Yeah,
minus the one guy in jail now.
Yeah.
He was. I don't give a fuck. He was great. That comedic wise, he was fucking hilarious. Yeah, he's a fucking scumbag, but That motherfucker looked like he was about to have a heart attack. Every 5 minutes, he gets so worked up.
Well, one thing, this is a Blumhouse film. As everybody knows, I despise Blumhouse in general. They just don't make good movies. I will say this this is not a standard vanilla forget about it in 2 days Blumhouse movie. You will remember this one. It is unique. It's chaotic. I could also see some motion sickness issues with some of the filming here. But shockingly enough, I'm a little conflicted on this one, but overall I'm leaning more towards I liked it. Maybe getting just a taste of this world. I might have hated this one a few years ago, but I didn't mind it. It's actually probably, and I granted it's such a low fucking bar, but probably the best Blumhouse movie I've seen in a while. Because it is actually distinct. It's not just, shit on a plate and serve it up kind of stuff. This is unique. I'm really curious to hear what people think about it.
I've been hearing a lot of positive.
Yeah, I've seen it split down the middle pretty much. Like there's people that are either gonna love it or hate it. And I'm negative on a lot of things, but I don't even hate it. It's just I really wish I
hate her.
Well, it's not even I just hate her. Like I'm fine with all the fucking. I'm no snowflake, motherfucker. But like
I didn't mean it like that.
But like I just wish I would have laughed and I would have actually found what they were poking fun at funny. I think also having it in that found footage, where you're trying to believe it's kind of real, even though especially with VHS, shit gets off the fucking rails. But I don't think it ever gets to the point where every single time a scare is happening, somebody's making some wise ass joke that just kind of outdoes what I just saw that I really popped hard for.
Yeah, no, I totally get that. I'm actually almost surprised myself that I mostly enjoyed it.
I know it's like you guys flipped. I'm confused.
It's odd. It is kind of odd because I would, part of me would think the director would say, "Hey, Annie, let's pull it back a little bit here." I'm sure let her do a lot of improv. I'd be curious to see interviews on this movie. The process of making it, I think, would be quite interesting. And
the most unique credit roll we've ever had.
Yes, most unique credit.
I know Kruger wanted to blow his brains.
That shit would never fucking end. I felt like it was just a fucking circle of hell and just being dragged through it and burned over and over again.
Again, and it's weird because I have a lot of friends that will recommend specifically not podcasts, but live streamers. I mean, I guess we are live streamers, but just people out on the street doing random shit. And for the most part, I'll be honest, I don't get it. I don't get why some of these people are so popular because a lot of it is just complete nonsense.
People are lonely, Dan.
But I understand. Yeah, I guess they want to hang out with guys that shove vapes up their ass. But yeah, I understand it better now.
Dan's just mad he didn't think of it first.
That guy's got a lot. Well, no, actually, he doesn't. He keeps getting deleted. It's a weird thing. But
so if I stick this up my ass, is it going to get me higher? like
the channel will. I don't know. The channel will go away, but you would get attention for sure.
We could censor my ass crack and make it work.
It'll be for Patreon, Dad. Come on, you got to make him pay for it.
True.
That one's gonna be like a fucking. If I'm shoving shit up my ass, we're gonna have to make like a fucking like $15 tier because I ain't doing that shit for cheap.
That's the OnlyFans, Flesh Wound OnlyFans coming soon.
OnlyFans.
But yeah, no, I'm really surprised. But there's gonna be a lot of zeros on this. It's weird. It's not a film I'm gonna revisit very often. It's pretty simple. They don't really explain a whole lot for the most part, but it's chaotic. It kind of works. Maybe double it up with Crank. Like Maybe that's a good
I can see that.
double feature.
Hardcore Henry, if you want to do the whole POV.
Yeah, probably Hardcore Henry would be a little bit like, don't put this in the same area as Crank, goddammit. All right, no, don't offend me that much, Dan.
I think it's closer to Crank than Hardcore Henry, despite the gimmick. Hardcore Henry is a little more grounded. This is, like you said, just all over the place.
I get what you mean by that, but
I think VHS too. I mean, VHS works well as well. Like, give this as a little warm up to VHS, and then watch one of the newer ones, or VHS 2, which is the best, I think.
Yeah, this is not going to be as universally liked as Host, but I do think this might end up being a cult favorite.
I don't think Host would be as universally liked if it came out today.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Probably not.
It was the right movie at the right time.
Yeah. It's a pretty well-made film. I like that it's 50-some minutes, and you know.
Yeah. One thing I'll say too, though, about this movie that was kind of rubbing me a little bit the wrong way. It reminded me a little too much of what is it? Paradise Lane? What's the cult one in VHS 2?
Oh, I know the one you're talking about, but I don't know the name. Pugs would know that one.
It's the best one for the Taiwanese one, I believe. It reminded me a lot of that.
Indonesia.
Indonesia.
It is the best. It's probably the best in any of the movies, to be honest.
Yeah, it reminded me a little too much of that in some of the areas where like the chick was being swarmed. You know what I mean? Like there's certain little things that really reminded me of that. That was like, I kind of want to just throw that on now too. So maybe that was taken away, but I'll give them this when it comes to the effects and the gore, and if you like splatter comedies, like I can see you liking this. I just the characters, like you're either gonna think they're funny or they're just gonna annoy the fuck out of you.
Yeah, I agree with that.
100%. Yeah. All right. You want to go ahead and rate it?
Let's do it.
What say you, Kruger?
I'm a 2.5 out of 5, and and that's me being generous because I don't think I necessarily had a 2.5 good time, but the effects and just the ambition that they had with what they went with. And just the balls to make something like this. I mean, 2.5 out of 5 is a respectable rating. I think that's what I gave Host too. So,
how about you,
I really did like this one, and I already want to watch it again. I'm going to give it a 4.
I am going to give this one. I don't have the desire to revisit it anytime soon like you, Todd. I'm giving it a 3, though. It's definitely above average. And like I said, it rises above the Blumhouse turd. So
would you say the best thing they've done since Invisible Man or The Hunt? I think those are the last two that you
I'd have to go back. Yeah, I mean, I don't always drop zeros on every Blumhouse movie, but yeah, as far as like one that I would even remember,
it's a couple Into the Darks you liked.
Yeah, that fucking stupid ass Pookie.
Towards the begin, Puka, motherfucker.
Now you like that weird ass fucking werewolf one that we got that I was pissed as fuck about.
Well, the latter, Into the Dark,
second
ran
season,
out as theme. Like honestly, there were several great episodes at the beginning, but
the body.
I'm just fucking with you.
You can just see the decline of Bloom towards the
all
end.
From one comment, but we'll just move on. Should have kept his mouth shut. He was right, so he just shouldn't have said it. And now look what it's done.
Anyways, so yeah, this is just one you're gonna have to check out for yourself. It might annoy the piss out of you, or you might love it. I know.
I 100% agree with your Dennis Miller Bordello of Dead comparison.
Bordello of Blood, yeah.
Bordello of Blood.
Yeah, very true, because I hear that from a lot of people that are just like, I mean, I don't think Bordello of Blood is a great movie. Demon Knight, I think, is a great movie, but I hear that from a lot of people. It was perfectly fine, but I just hate Dennis Miller. I hear that a lot with that movie, and Annie Hardy is the Dennis Miller of this movie, so it's just going to depend. All right, well, let's change things up here with an action film, Western, more specifically, Extreme Prejudice, directed by the legendary Walter Hill, this gritty modern Western is regarded as a classic and features an all-star cast. Lean Mean Texas Ranger Jack Bentine locks horns with a former friend, Cash Bailey, now a ruthless drug kingpin. Though they're on opposite sides of the law, they share a love interest in the sensual Sarita. When a crew of rogue soldiers descends upon the border town for an off-the-books mission, all roads lead to a bloody, to-the-death showdown as loyalties shift and the lines between good and evil are blurred.
And Dan,
All right.
why are we reviewing this? Because it's the latest release from Vestron Collector's
Yes.
Home Video Series. Yes. So
There you go.
There you
I was
go.
ready for that. So first off, before I even talk about the movie, because I do think this is important to say, the Vestron line. So most of you will probably pick this up if you didn't get it on Amazon, $12.99 at Walmart. Very cheap releases. I am shocked on this one. They go balls out on extra features. From an hour interview with Walter Hill, which I'm going to say this right now. You should definitely check that out. He goes into not just Extreme Prejudice. He talks about how the movie industry has changed over the years, and he has a pretty awesome rant on superhero movies, and I like that a lot. That interview was probably worth the $12.99 because there's a lot of good storytellers. There's also a Michael Ironside interview who tells a hilarious story about Rip Torn telling him about the time he lost his virginity. You should listen to that. Clancy Brown, also a great storyteller, also has Rip Torn stories. You should check out all of the extra features because I wouldn't expect anything honestly for $12.99, and they went all out. So
Well, Vestron normally does that though. That's kind of like the whole point of the line.
it is, and hey, it shows you can just because it's a cheaper release doesn't mean you can't get high quality.
I was impressed with Shivers. Shivers had some really
Shivers.
good fucking
Yeah,
the whole line. There's a couple lighter on them, but that's
yeah, there is. But this is not one of the lighter ones.
It is not.
When I even picked it up, I don't even think I really looked into it. It was just like, oh, okay, I'm sure this doesn't really have anything. I doubt they got Walter Hill or some of these actors, and I was very impressed with that. So, getting into the movie, which is also written by another legend, John Milius of Conan the Barbarian fame. Lots of talent. My God, character actor heaven. Nick Nolte, Powers Booth, Michael Ironside, Rip Torn, Clancy Brown, William Forsythe. We've got Tiny Lister Jr. in there, an early role for him. Mickey Jones, if you don't know that name, you've seen him in all kinds of shit. You can't.
Damn, no love for Larry B. Scott or Maria Conchita Alonso.
Oh yes, absolutely. Caught, Todd, Mr. Skin Classic, Maria Conchita Alonso. I know her, Todd, very well.
Don't make it weird, Dan.
So, anyways, it's hard not to hit a home run with this kind of cast, and I think they do. It's a modern Western. I hadn't watched this in a while. Is it Walter Hill's best film? No. That's debatable, but I mean, Streets of Fire, I think, is an amazing movie. 48 Hours, of course. The Warriors. I can't say it reaches that level of some of his best work, but I absolutely love this. And rest in peace, Powers Booth plays an amazing heel here, as he always does. I haven't watched this one in a while, but as a Van Damme guy, I always revisit Sudden Death, another great heavy performance from Powers Booth. This is action like I wish we still made action. Just all alpha male, tough guys blowing shit up, actual explosions. interesting characters. You know, a lot of these guys don't have a ton of screen time necessarily, but you know who each one of them is. Forsyth, as always, just unhinged and really memorable. Michael Ironside, this was actually his first major American movie. Of course, he had notoriety because of his, visiting hours, scanners, and, the stuff that he was doing in Canada. But this was like his first really big American movie. And he talks about that on the special features. I really enjoyed this a lot. Hadn't revisited it in a long time. And I do think it's worth picking up. I know a lot of horror fans that are into the Vestron line have been asking about this one. I do think it's worth your time. But how about you?
I was going to say, here's my thing with the Vestron line. I'm glad we're getting something like this. Because if you know your Vestron history, they weren't a horror label.
No, they weren't.
They were a low budget label, and we get stuff like this. Although this technically was not a Vestron release, it was an IVE release.
I was gonna say,
but that whole Under the Lionsgate banner, I'll look away, just like I'll look away if we get a Fright Night 2, because that was also IVE. But I like the idea of the label. I think this is going to turn a lot of the horror ones off. But a lot of them are still going to buy it just so they don't have a number gap. So
I don't think it'll turn them off once they watch it.
I can't even say that, because if Kruger watched it, I don't think he's going to love it.
Yeah.
I don't think that's an automatic.
If you are an action fan,
if you're an action fan, you're not going to complain this is coming out on the line.
Yeah, when it comes to action movies, I need my shit to be like ultra violent for me to like actually enjoy it. Have some of that gore and horror elements. If somebody got the bottom of their jaw blown off and their fucking tongue is flapping out all over the place in this Western, I'll check it out.
Nothing. This is though the era of bloody squibs, no CG. I don't know. It may not be the first thing I'd recommend to you, but there's no jaws getting torn off. But I love. It's just a bloody, modern at the time, but old school Western type story, and I dug the shit out of it.
Yeah, it is. It's a Western. Yeah. It feels like a modern one. Well, now a modern one from 1987, but
I think they shot it in '85. Yeah, and Sarita, Maria Conchita Alonso, kind of a pain in the ass. Like, I need to go see this vicious drug lord that I used to. It's like I was like, man, you're kind of a bitch, Sarita. I mean, come on. I mean, she's easy on the eyes, but the character is kind of annoying. Like, no, I must go see him. Did he ask about me? That's the most fucked up thing to say to a boyfriend. Like, about an ex. Like, did he ask about me? Like, shut the fuck up. God damn it. All right, rant over. But
Dan seems like he's had this personal experience that he's projecting.
No, that would be over if I had that personal experience. But yeah. And why would you ask about that? I thought her character was pretty but annoying. But that's all right.
Like
I didn't say that.
I was joking. That's what Dan said in the chat.
I did not. Fuck, liar. God damn. But yeah, man, they just don't make them. Like, I mean, Fast and the Furious, all this stuff. It's just like, it doesn't even feel like a movie anymore. It really doesn't. It's something completely different. I don't think the fun's there. And I think the last few action movies we kind of covered were a little more on the cheesy Miami Connection kind of variety, but this is definitely a serious minded action flick, but it's so much fun. And
it's not not something like, say, a Commando where there's still a lot of humor in it. This is just pure Western action movie.
Yeah. And we always forget Nick Nolte's a fucking badass. He plays it very, very straight in this, but so there's, he's not dropping a lot of one-liners or anything. But you do have like William Forsythe and some other characters saying some funny shit.
At
So
least it didn't pop up in his shorts.
no, he did not. I fully believe that those shorts existed and he owned them back in the 80s, though.
He's also
100%.
see, I know you were on the fence. He's also in Cloak and Dagger. So that's actually the first movie I know him from.
I like Cloak and Dagger. That one I just $43. I'm just having a tough time.
I love it. That was instant.
Yeah, no, see, that one's not instant for me. Maybe we'll see, but I kind of doubt it. But if we do, hey, I'll revisit that one.
I think it'll be on Flesh Wound Jr. So
there you go. So yeah, not a whole lot else to say about this one. It unfolds like pretty much any 80s action movie, and I absolutely love it. So for me, I give this one 4 stars out of 5. What about you, Tom?
I'm exactly the same. I'm a 4-star on this one. Yeah, just like if you're collect the liner, like it's one of those things that you gotta like some 80s action to really get into this, I think.
Yeah.
So, but yeah. I do think it's well worth checking out, and it's a nice addition to the line.
Yeah, it's weird now. I never really would have thought of this before, because my history with Indian cinema is more horror, but Indian films like RRR, a recent one, it's like going back to kind of our old school action movie tradition, where just stuff we don't see anymore. I'm sorry, Tom Holland is not an action star. I don't know if we really have true action stars anymore, at least new ones over the past.
You have
years.
The Rock, and you have
The Rock's been around now for over 20
Oh,
years.
like new ones?
So,
no, there's no real alpha males left.
No, there's no alpha males anymore, and I think that's a sad thing. Needs to come back, and we need a new action star. I mean, I'm sorry, Liam Neeson at this point is like fucking 70. Like, come on, guys. Like,
we got Jessica Chastain. Calm down.
Jessica Chastain is a great actress, but she's not an action star.
I can't even say that first half.
355, and then they're advertising it. Penelope Cruz and Jessica Chastain, the 355. Go fuck yourself. Nobody
movie
wanted
was
to
so
see it.
bad.
Nobody wanted to see that fucking shit. Hey, look, there are plenty. I mean, shit. I'm not saying she's a great actress, but Ronda Rousey, Gina Carano, solid actress. You can have your female action stars. Just let them be fucking credible. Like, Jesus, it's gonna be like Meryl Streep is John Rambo. Like,
and she doing
my dick.
And yet Dan said he didn't say that comment I made earlier was him. So just say it.
It wasn't. I didn't say. I said Jessica Chastain is a fantastic actress. I love her work. She's not a fucking action star. God damn. Like, guys, come on. Kruger, get into Hollywood. Start kicking the shit out of people. That's your next
I don't think anybody's gonna fucking buy the fat fucking dude as the action star, but okay.
Hey, if Steven Seagal had a career off of it.
You've lit people on fire. You've done all sorts of crazy shit. You're believable.
Yeah, but I'm not gonna be able to do that. You're like asking me just to go and kill a bunch of people, Dan. Stop being a bad
difference.
Kruger, you could gain 100 pounds tomorrow and still kick the shit out of Jessica Chastain.
Well,
so
no shit. But
you could fuck up the entire 355. You'd stack them all up and put them through a flaming table. 2 minutes.
Todd, book the fucking burial of all the women in UEW. It's gonna happen.
All right, so what is your rating?
Actually,
oh, we already did it. 4 and 4.
Yeah, I was gonna say I was almost getting 355 to 0.
I'm trying to get you off your just what do we got next, Dan?
Well, not the 355.
You know what? That'll be next week. We're gonna do 3. Now I'm gonna make us do a 355 watch along, Dan. That might get Dan canceled. I'm pretty sure it would.
Yeah, I don't know if I could hold my anger enough to get through it, but Yeah, and that's like a $60 fucking million movie. It's ridiculous. Who thought that was going to make money? I'm not done ranting on it yet. I'm sorry. But yes, if anybody liked 355, please leave a comment and then go.
It's
fuck
on
yourself.
Peacock now if you want to like watch it and
Yeah.
make Dan judge. Or if you want Dan to do a commentary, throw in the comments.
Yes, but anyways, dude, reboot it.
Since he never proved to us he has a letterbox, I think he has to watch 355.
I did. I think you
haven't
even added me. I haven't done anything with it.
Have you proved it to me? I haven't gotten anything, Kruger.
Yeah,
did
neither
you get
have
anything?
I will check it, but I do have it.
It doesn't exist until I have it.
People have added me. I know that. I think Ghost added me. I could be wrong because I haven't looked at it. But yeah, I did create it. So anyways, moving on
Step
to our...
one.
I had it. I didn't say
Just
I was
getting
going
you to use the goddamn thing now.
It's because they keep asking me what I think of Tenet. I don't want to fucking answer. I just want to have it and look at whatever people post. I'm not going down the list.
Motherfucker, it's like you have to pick like 5 goddamn movies. It's like 2 seconds.
If I pick 5, I've got to pick the 50,000 I've seen. That's what's annoying.
It just gives you a little bit of a list. It's
OCD. But anyways, all right. Happy thoughts. 355, out of my mind. Our next film from writer-director Isaac Rodriguez is A Town Full of Ghosts. In this one, a couple moves into a forgotten Old West ghost town with big plans to restore it, but soon discover the town has an evil secret. Don't they all? Never a good idea to buy an abandoned ghost town. So this is another found footage film. Doesn't overstay its welcome. Another one, just a little over an hour. So kudos. These movies don't have to hit that 80, 90-minute runtime. You're fine. You tell a complete story. First thing I will say, I love the setting. It's kind of something that is a little bit before my time, but I always loved the like Wild West theme stuff. Todd, you're a little bit older. I'm sure you remember going to maybe some Old West shows.
No, I mean I had Knott's Berry Farm down the corner, so they still have that. So it's not anything.
Yeah, there were a couple, and I can't think of the names, but there were a couple way back in the day, though, that were just like the Old West experience.
I may have been like, I don't think I did any of those, but I may have driven through them. And when I got drug on vacation as a child. I know I went to that Flintstones park over by the fucking heads of all the racist
Sounds like
white
you
people.
didn't like it, though. And I loved it. I ate that shit up. I love just guys getting shot and falling off of buildings onto mattresses. Again, going back to my love.
Again, you can still go see all this too.
There's not a lot of it anymore. Not
There's
separate.
a shit ton down here.
Yeah. Oh well, yeah, that makes sense over. Yeah,
but do they still have one that is just a Western attraction, not like a sideshow thing at another park?
Yes.
Like just okay. Well, that's awesome to hear.
There's like they do Western shows with the whole set and everything, fucking down here, like constantly.
That is good to hear then, because I haven't run across
you
it.
You need to go to the desert.
Yeah,
like come down to the desert. If I go down there, that is definitely something I will do. So yeah, this was very cool. I don't know a whole lot about the history of this particular location. I know they shot this outside of Austin, Texas, but that I thought was really neat. A very neat setting. And specifically shot in J. Lorraine, Texas, Ghost Town, Austin. I don't have a whole lot to say about this one way or another. It's very been there, done that.
Yeah.
There's nothing major to criticize. I will say the husband, not the greatest actor. Maybe it's more the character, because there's a certain point where supposed to be a little intimidating. Never got there for me. I thought the actress that played Jenna, the wife, was fine. But yeah, that actor was more obnoxious at times, maybe the character at a certain point where I'm supposed to be a little bit intimidated, and I wasn't. This isn't a painful watch. Once again, kudos on the runtime. I think this might just strictly be for you die-hard found footage fans that have to watch them all, because it was never particularly scary, and I think with the setting, it could have been, and they just didn't do it.
Yeah, it felt like the setting was wasted, and if you're even just a little bit knowledgeable in the genre, there's so much of it that's done here, so it's like it. I mean, there's stuff straight out of Blair Witch in here. That's taking it back.
Yeah, and it's not Blair Witch, unfortunately. No. So, yeah, but what did you guys think?
Well, I can tell you right now, the CGI blood splatter right off the bat, fucking, it had me like, oh, here we go. I do agree with you. I think the setting is cool, and I kind of wish they would have did more with it and didn't go the typical found footage, paranormal movie route. Because if you've I used to watch found footage, like every single found footage movie for many years, and I've seen this movie done 1,000 times, to be honest with you. Especially with the twist in the ending. I mean, that I've literally seen play out in so many different found footage movies specifically, that it was like, oh, what the fuck? Because even right before that, they started to play with a little bit of the lore of the town, and I was starting to get interested, but then they just took a turn for the worse with that ending. And yeah, I just overall, I mean, you said it wasn't painful for you. It was a little painful for me. Just seeing the same thing done over and over again after a while gets really old, especially when you don't bring something like new to the table and utilize it properly. And this brought that town, and it just felt like it was wasted potential.
Even the jump scares didn't hit. It was just very just okay. I maybe wish I was watching a documentary on whatever this place was.
Yeah, like maybe if they could have, spiced it up a little bit with some mockumentary style stuff, maybe in between some of the long stretches. But even just being around the characters, they weren't really that compelling at all. I agree with you with the acting with the husband, particularly. There's some of his dialogue seemed just, like he was kind of reading straight off a line. That may not even be his fault. It just may have been, his lines that he was given. But overall, I mean, this is, I don't think it's very good, and I couldn't recommend it even to a hardcore found footage fan, because if you are a hardcore found footage fan, you've seen this done 1,000 times before and probably better.
Yeah, no, I agree. It's not horrible. It's just there's a lot of options out there. Todd, what about you? Did you get anything at all from it?
No, I didn't. And like I already said, it's just so many things I've seen before, and I feel like the setting is underutilized. It feels to me like a movie. Okay, we got access to this set. Let's do this.
Yeah.
And I will give it was a cool set, but it wasn't. I would have rather you throw in a slasher in there, but then we just have Texas Chainsaw all over again. 2022.
I would have been fine with found footage Texas Chainsaw.
Honestly, yeah, or just a cooler gimmick. Like, give me Renee Perez, guest of the show of the past. Just give us like Old West Zombies. Give us something. You got to give us a little something, because this movie's not scary. It's so ho hum. Give me more of the fantastical elements. Because you're right. Like, I kept thinking, like, just shut the fuck up, Mark. I just want to look around this place. Just go in different. I could easily kill probably a week just looking around the cool shit that they had laying around. But yeah, not much else to say about this one, guys. For diehards, for diehard found footage fans, you might find something to like here, but for me, nah, it's a slog. All right, well, I guess we'll go ahead and rate it. There's nothing horrifically bad. It's just, I'm a 1.5. There you go, a generous 1.5.
I'm not so generous today. I'm a 0.5 star.
Okay.
Well, I'm a little more generous with this one too. It's a It's a 1.5 for me.
Cool. All right. Now moving on to our main event, which is our theatrical film that I hope more people see, because I've yet to really talk to anybody who's watched it. And
I know I had to twist your guys' arm to go see it. I was like, no.
Yeah, I didn't think I was going to be able to make it, but I did. So yes, Watcher from director Chloe Akuno. And in this one, a young American woman moves with her husband to Bucharest, Romania, and begins to suspect that a stranger who watches her from the apartment building across the street may be a local serial killer decapitating women. All right. So Watcher, very Hitchcockian, and I love that. I don't know why more people aren't paying attention to it, because I think it's actually pretty fantastic.
Because there's another movie from a master people are focused on this week.
Yeah, that is true. I think in terms of indie horror stuff, Cronenberg gets the win. First off, I want to put over Maika Monroe, who everybody most likely remembers from It Follows. She's excellent in the lead role. I think we're all Hitchcock guys. You kind of have to be if you're just a movie fan in general. I'm not even going to limit that to a genre. And I think they did a fantastic job with this. It's just a perfect slow burn thriller. I don't know that there's any like shocking revelations or anything. It's all very straightforward, but it works. Stranger in a strange land, a lot of stressors in general, not speaking the language. The husband's not an asshole character or anything. I felt their dynamic was very realistic. I've known people in similar situations, that went to live abroad and had a really, really rough time, especially when you're not fluent in the language. So I related to all these characters. I thought very realistic. And the suspense just slowly builds and builds and builds. And I think it's a pretty excellent finale, personally. Yes, I know Todd related with the Watcher, and that's okay. He's a little different, but
I was gonna say, poor Watcher. He was just trying to chill, do his thing.
I really liked the interaction, like on the train, and the scene with the cop, without giving too much away. This is another one, very straightforward, but I wish we had more films like this. How many generic, bigger budget Hollywood thrillers have we seen recently where it's just like, oh my God, this is just so bland?
And it's crazy to think this is Chloe's Akuno's first feature.
Akuno,
Oh, go ahead.
No, you were going to bring a VHS, right?
Yeah, she did my favorite segment, VHS 94, the Storm Drain. Hail Ratma.
Yeah. So I mean, going in, I didn't realize this was her first film. She kills it. I mean, in my opinion.
Yeah, she absolutely does. I think just everybody hits a home run in this one. We've got a great villain. Just the shots are just beautiful, inside that supermarket. Is he watching me? What's going on here?
It's cat and mouse Hitchcockian thriller.
It is, and I think she does Hitchcock proud, and probably didn't terrorize her lead actress nearly as much. So there is a shower. So shower comes into play. I don't know. You got to think maybe that'd be a funny gag, just like freak them out. But what did you guys think? Whoever wants to go next.
Okay.
So I'm a Hitchcock guy. I do love a lot of Hitchcock films, but I don't really have how do I put this? Some like I love The Birds, I love Psycho, but like some of his other stuff, like I do enjoy watching it, but it's nothing that's like holy ground for me.
Not Rope. Rope's a good
Rope,
one.
I have four: Frenzy,
Okay.
Rope, and then Psycho and The Birds. Those are like all four of those I think are fantastic. But some of his other stuff, you know, I kind of I sometimes get a little bit bored with it, but then it'll have like some fantastic ending. And
Vertigo. Check out Vertigo.
I don't like Vertigo.
North by
Oh.
Northwest.
I haven't seen that one.
All right. Well, this is the last one I'll say, and it's not just
and
because
Rear Window. Too,
okay. I was
love.
gonna say
Yeah.
Dial M for Murder. That was,
I haven't seen that one yet, but
and this one definitely has some Rear Window vibes. But sorry,
Yes.
go ahead.
Yeah, and Rear Window I think is one of my favorites by him as well, and they do nail that you know that Hitchcock feel, cinematography wise, beautiful looking film. I love the setting of Romania, and you know definitely the awkward feeling you get when you know her husband's having these full blown conversations, and you know you don't know what's going on, and neither does she. So you're sitting there like, oh, what the fuck, like trying to read their facial expressions, trying to figure out what they're talking about. And I thought the way that played into the story was really well done. The Watcher himself is definitely a interesting character. I was happy with you know his little MO of decapitating people and you know his little signature touch as a serial killer. That was cool, and it did keep me guessing because there's a little hint, or not really a hint, but there's something that like could have easily been passed by. And like I caught on it, and it had me thinking I, you know, knew who the killer was, and then you know, obviously it plays out a different way. But I thought that was actually pretty well done. I'll talk about it in spoilers, but there's this tiny little detail that they just put in there that had like a little light bulb go off in my head. So then throughout the whole movie, I'm trying to justify if it's that person or not, and that was a cool thing. Here's I like this movie, but I have a couple of issues with it. One of them being that I feel like our main character, like, yeah, she's really curious and like kind of obsessed with what's going on, trying to figure out, you know, if she's being stalked or not. But I felt she put herself in some situations that where if you're scared about being stalked by a murderer, I don't know if you would necessarily put yourself in such a dangerous position if you're that afraid of it. And you could play with, you know, maybe she wasn't so much as afraid as she was, you know, obsessed with trying to figure out if she was going crazy or not. But there was a couple of moments where I was like, ooh, that's not a good idea. And I don't know how realistic somebody in that type of position would be in. And, you know, this is more of a grounded film. So that had me questioning a little bit. And then the final act, why, you know, it escalates really nicely. What we ended on kind of bothered me. I'll talk about it in spoilers because I can't really get into the details, but there was a certain thing that happened that had me go, I wish they would have maybe been a little bit more clever with how they had that play out rather than it just be so cut and dry. And then like you come to this revelation at the end, then, you know, the movie ends. But overall, it's, you know, it's definitely a really good thriller. Maybe if it had a little bit more violence, you know, I would have had a better time with it. I mean, it does lead up to, you know, a couple of solid scenes, but maybe if I had a couple more decaps, a higher body count, I could have had a little bit more fun with it. But I will say this, the final act is satisfying, minus the one issue I had. And I do think it's a good film, but it's not one I necessarily needed to see in the theaters. I could have easily waited for this to come to Shudder, you know, because it is eventually. And I think I would have maybe enjoyed it even a little bit more if I didn't, you know, spend the whole price of a movie ticket on it. But you know, I've seen definitely worse movies and in the theater this year specifically, and this is one of, you know, if you love thrillers and you love Hitchcock, I think you're going to love this movie. For me, I think it's really good, but it's not like going to crack my top 10 or, you know, maybe not even my top 20, but I do recommend it.
I also do want to name him Vern Gorman, who played the villain. Fantastic actor. He's on The Expanse. He's actually in Pinocchio, the new Guillermo del Toro movie.
He's currently on The Offer, the Paramount Plus series about the Godfather. He plays the president of Gulf and Western.
Oh, nice. Yeah, you know the face. You've seen
Yeah.
him in different things, and yeah, he's really good. Really plays it just right. Creepy,
Yeah.
doesn't go too wild, and it just works. Yeah. How about you, Todd? Where does this rank for you? You're definitely a Hitchcock fan. I know you're a
Yeah, I
big
kind of
one.
already tipped that hat when I was talking earlier, Dan. But
Yeah.
no, yeah, I love this one. Like I said, I knew Dan would too. I was when you asked Kruger, I was in the middle. I was like, because I think when you hear the word serial killer, you want something a lot more gory.
More of a slasher, yeah.
Not even necessarily, but I think like I don't know. I like seeing, like, for example, serial killer movie we just watched recently, Midnight. That killer was fucking menacing as fuck. Like, so, and this is a very different type of serial killer, obviously. But like when that killer in Midnight was sprinting at somebody like the T-1000, it was like I thought it was actually scary. And this killer is more creepy than scary, I guess.
Yeah.
But when you do have an MO where you're chopping people's heads off, I mean, you can't blame me for wanting to see it.
I don't know. I would have liked to see more decapitations myself. I mean, just in general, but with the movie, I thought it. I think less is more in this one. I think when we finally get that, it has more of an impact than if we would have been going like if it would have been like Maniac, and then we get the ending doesn't have that punch.
Yeah.
So the fact that we are little, and then like the subway scene where you're like getting closer and trying to, is it or isn't it? Yeah, I'm not saying, but everyone will say it in the spoilers. Yeah, I love this movie. I was glad I saw it in theaters. I loved it, absolutely.
Awesome. Well, let's go ahead and rate it, and then we can talk about spoilers. For me, it's a 4.5. I loved it. Pretty close to perfect. I think just more of this, please. How about you, Todd?
I am going to rate it higher than the other movie I watched the same day. I'm giving this a 5.
Nice.
All right, and I'm a 3 out of 5.
Cool.
All right.
All right. Spoiler time, guys.
Anything we want to shill before we hit it?
Yeah, be sure to vote on the nominations video. Yeah, 4 fantastic channels, 4 fantastic choices. Get in there, vote. And beyond that, be sure to check out our Tombs of the Blind Dead franchise show we've got coming soon, and our Jurassic Park franchise show, and all of our other content. Been a busy couple weeks, so check all that out.
All right. Well, let's go to spoilers.
All right.
So my issue with the ending is, all right, so he slits her throat, right? And then, she's bleeding out this fucking pool of blood. Maybe you shouldn't have had her bleed that much. It just had me in the same stance where I was like, oh, that's a little unrealistic that, she got up off the floor from fucking losing that much blood from her neck. And then, and if anybody's fucking understands that shit, it's me. I've lost plenty. Fucking when you're pouring like that, you're going to pass out and not fucking wake up for a while. So that
or ever.
Yeah, or ever. And another thing too is like, okay, so he slits her throat, but he slits it on the side of her neck. So
I think it was purposeful so he could watch her die. He didn't want it to be immediate. That was the whole thing.
Yeah,
and it stopped her from screaming.
Yeah,
True.
he's had practice. Like, I think he did it in a way. Obviously, he didn't do it quite right, but
yeah, but that's what I'm saying though. If you already have, if you're on your 5th or 6th body at this point, I don't know. Maybe you would have realized how to kill the bitch right.
But he needed to see it, and he thought, and playing possum, whatever.
I mean, you could have slit her throat and had the same exact effect, bro.
Well,
Would have been quicker.
Cutting somebody's throat, it doesn't take a whole lot to kill somebody immediately doing that. So I don't know. I think he wanted to
still
lay
watched
there
her die. What did she fucking
savor
bleed?
it.
She bled out for less than a minute before she died. I mean, I don't think it's that big of a stretch to pick at that a little bit. The one thing that I did like, though, and what I was mentioning earlier, is the husband's work friend when he was talking about the decapitations and how he almost or how he cut this one chick's throat all the way to the end, and then the husband goes, "Oh, I didn't hear about that on the news." I thought that was the little small hint that it was going to end up being the husband's work friend. So I thought that was well done, because I wasn't expecting it to actually be the fucking dude that was stalking her.
Yeah.
Yeah, they could have gone that direction. I thought they might throw a little bit of a curveball, especially once he kind of showed up at the house, which again, traditionally not a major serial killer move. But we don't learn a lot about this guy. Maybe he was at the end of his rope. He was ready to,
there's always a point where they get sloppy.
Well, plus figured, somebody else in custody and everything. But no, I think overall everything for me came together quite nicely. It would have been interesting if it had ended up being the lady neighbor. That I forget, Irene, I think was her name.
Yeah, I was playing with that idea too, and actually, I feel like I may have liked that ending a little bit more, even though it was a little obvious. You'd have to do a couple of things with the story to try to hide it, a little bit better if they were going to go that route. But yeah, I would have actually popped pretty hard for that.
Yeah, did she say she was a ballerina? So I can't remember exactly what she did, but the knee injury.
She's a stripper.
No, she was a stripper then, but she had, she had I think she said ballerina, whatever, and her career ended. So that could be they do drop certain red herrings there.
What they should have actually, what could have been cool is if she was like, a singing dance performer. And the reason she's cutting people's heads off and their throats and shit is because she can't perform like that anymore.
We're getting into Fulci territory, though. That we're booking more of a Fulci than a Hitchcock movie, but both would have been good.
All right. Well, is there anything else we got on spoilers?
No, I don't think so.
Was her head in the bag? We'll go with
that. That's certainly the thought that, I don't think you have to answer that one, but I'd say so. But it looks like that doesn't just look like it's a chow mein dinner. It looks a little off.
But just getting in closer was master filmmaking, in my opinion. So, all right. Well, that's it for spoilers.
Just talks to her with the head. You wanted it more fucked up. I get it.
Nothing wrong with that.
All right. So, guys, be sure to vote and sub to all the channels if you haven't already. And we're happy to carry on this great tradition. We do really appreciate it. Once again, thank you to Garrett for nominating us. And I didn't realize this has been going on for a while. This is kind of a rich tradition here. So we're hoping to pay it forward, and hopefully everybody, regardless of who wins, grows, and you get some more awesome channels and content here on YouTube to watch. With that being said, that's all I've got. So fuck the 355. Good night.
Good evening.
Stay sick, motherfuckers.